Y'all should be ready to go.
Okay, let me go ahead through the status, just so we can bring you up to speed on all the work that's being done, both in our few discoveries we have left, which is great. We're dwindling down our discovery process with the state. The net's been picking up user management role work with folks for that user management um, administration piece. We've got Olivia doing concurrent programs. I think Lynette's doing referral integration. Reports are starting. That'll be Laura. And then the CCWP migrations, we've been working with those folks on that. So we don't care too much, but those of you that are in LWS 7 probably care. Um, Current development, we're kind of finished up the training program renewal process. Any upgrades there, that's going to be actually in a UAT this afternoon. Um, And let me bounce back up just so everybody knows. UAT release started a couple days ago, actually, 3/2. Today, Laura's going to go over services, which is going to include another look at goals and objectives and how they're related to services, because we definitely need to think about goals and objectives before we get into a service. Um, and then transition, follow-up, and exit summary are actually going to start next week on 3/11. They're ready. ETPL training plan renewal, which I talked about, is this afternoon for some ETPL coordinators. And then we had 2 days ago, we had administrators will look at service collection, service template explorer. So UAT environment's building up pretty quickly now. We'll have some extra stuff in there for next week. Hopefully next week we'll get that slid in on top of this, which I'll have to do with this transition and follow-up work. So today your focus will be on the goals, objectives, and services when we get to that. Um, there's a lot of development going in all this area. Actually, landing page probably you will see actually, but not focused on that today yet. We're working, finishing up credentials, getting started assessments. We have done some migrations. We have not validated that data completely yet, but we have done some LW offices. We have done providers. You'll see some provider names that you probably recognize in our UAT area. Relationships, we're working on that, working through that. Some of you know about relationships. We're trying to bring those over. Application document uploads is being worked on, interest profile and follow-up. Recommended services and another area called overview is also being worked on, customer planner overview. So career planner overview for customer. So a lot of stuff going on and lots going into UAT, a lot of feature sets into UAT during the month of March. We got to get this into your hands. So be ready for that. That's what we got on the status. I'm going to turn it over to Laura to uh, walk through step by step goals, objectives, and how they're related to services, and she'll take over.
Okay. All right. Good morning. Let me know if you guys can see my screen. Just like one thumbs up.
Looks good.
Okay. All right. As Al mentioned, the purpose of Release 14 is to review services and how they relate to goals and objectives on your career plan. The career or the UAT cycle will be open from March 5th through the 19th for you guys to test and review and let us know what you think. So, the key areas that you're going to focus on as you're going through the career plan, and I have them here in bullet points, is navigating to the career plan. We're going to go through the career plan list view when it's filtered to all, and then the career plan list view when it's filtered to goals and objectives. Then we're going to talk about how to add a goal and objective, view a goal and objectives, and edit a goal and objectives. And as Al mentioned, obviously you have to have the goal and the objective before you can assign or associate a service. So then we'll go over career plan list view, filtered to services, adding a service, viewing a service, and editing a service. It seems like a lot, but it's not really that bad. And once you get into it and start maneuvering your way around, it just kind of comes natural. And I'm speaking from experience. Okay, so the task, or let's see, so the tasks that you guys need to do, the ask is to have it be completed at end of day Thursday, March 19th. And then to access the UAT environment, you'll want to use this link that's provided in the UAT guide, as you're familiar with. If you do have any issues getting logged in, you'll want to reach out to Lynette, I believe, and maybe Kelly. And then if you have, as you're doing the reporting issues, so you're going to document issues, bugs, enhancements, requests, and you're going to use our shared reporting notebook. And you can just use this link right here to get you there. So let me show you what this looks like. I know you're familiar with it. I'll just walk you through this real quick. So here's the check-in participation. So each of you will want to put your name in and the date that you're working on it and any comments that you might have. There are, with career plans, there are lots of enhancements. It's like an ongoing, right now it's an ongoing upgrades. I did put a list of 15 enhancements that will be taking place as you guys are testing, and this might help you. I'm afraid we might get multiple bugs or issues or concerns. So just make sure you review the enhancements. I do believe I might be adding a couple more. So if I do, I might put it in red at the bottom and date it so you know, hey, she updated this after I started working on it. So just make sure you walk through these. Test customers have been provided. So each of you are going to want to claim a persona. You're going to want to claim a customer. That way we don't have multiple people working on the same customer in the system. And then the way I have this set up, like always, is page by page goes through each area in the UAT guide. I did go ahead and put screenshots for you so you can remember how to get there, where to get there, and why. And then if you have concerns or questions within this particular area, just put screenshots down here. You can put your name, information, and let me know what you're thinking, and then I'll be sure to look at this daily and then reply back as soon as possible. So let's go back to here. Any questions so far? You'll want to make sure you thoroughly read through the UAT guide. I'm actually going to take you right now step by step. We'll start with navigating to the career plan, and I'm gonna have this on the left, and I'm gonna show you the UAT on the right. That way I can tell you what we're doing and show you how to do it. And then obviously this is what you'll do on your own time to make sure you don't have any issues. So I will stop between each area in case you have questions at that time. If you don't mind, because oh yeah, I do have my chat on, so I can also check and see if you want to put questions in the chat. You can do that as well. Okay, so navigating to the career plan. So in this case, you're going to go up here to the customer in the main panel menu. You're going to hit customers, and now you're in the customers landing page, and this is set up in a 2-panel. So the left side panel is the search customers. The right side is the view customers. For today's purpose, I'm not going to be reviewing how to use the search customers panel because I know you're already familiar with it, and we've gone through it in multiple UATs sessions prior to today. So just to save time so we can go through the things you might not be familiar with, we'll just skip this part if that's okay. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find a customer with an application. For today's purpose, I am going to use John Doe. And then, so as you find your customer with an application, you're going to want to go to the last name and click the link. what this does is this opens you up to the customer profile link page. Again, there'll be a, let's see. So up here, you can see the customer's name, and phone number, communication method, and email. One of the enhancements here is we'll be adding a couple more things here in the future. Today you don't have it, but you can expect to see that later. Okay, so now we're in the customer profile page, and what we want to do in order to get to the career plan, we need to go down to applications. So you can scroll the customer profile page to get familiar with it, but here's the applications, and you're going to want to go to the actions view icon and open that up. So now that you've hit the view icon, what this does is it takes you to the what area do you want to work in. And in this case, in order to get to the career plan, customer career plan, you want to use the drop down and go to career plan. This is one of the enhancements that you'll see that's different in UAT versus the UAT guide, and the UAT guide is actually correct. Once you get to the career plan area, there will be 3 tabs, not 4. The log tab has been removed, and we've added it down here as a link under participation summary tools. So the only 3 tabs you will have when you're in the career plan is recommendations, plan, and signatures. So once you're here, there's two ways for you to actually open up the career plan where you can see the goals, objectives, and the services. The first way is over here in the quick links. As you can see, we have career plan, and then you have recommendations, planned, and signatures, which will match the tabs that you have over here. If I go in here and I click plan, it opens up the plan. So that's the quick way to get there. I'm going to go back to the view icon in applications. I'm going to hit career plan, and then I can just hit the plan tab, and that gets you right here so you can see the goals, objectives, and services for the customer that's noted at the top. We do have this application summary drop down. A lot of this information that's right here is going to get we're going to take it from here and move it up to the customer profile, so there'll really only just be one drop down. But for right now, you'll see this format on every page that we maneuvered through the goals, objectives, and services. Okay, so there's also this back button. So that back button gets you back to the customer profile. So if you go from the quick link to the back button, you get to this page. And if you go from the plan tab to this button, it gets you to this page. And that's the landing page view. So are there any questions before we move on? Okay. All right, so we're going to go back to the career plan, and we're going to open up the plan. And so the way this is set up is you have a key icons for goals, objectives, and services. And this feature right here, this is where we have your view filter. And right now we are actually viewing career plan list view all. So in the future, in a little bit, we'll go and we'll actually go to goals and objectives and services. So for right now, with all. So when it's viewed to all, you're going to be able to see the goal and the objective, and if there's a service associated. So you'll see all 3. So to the right of the view dropdown, you'll have a select a goal or objective. So this allows you to select a particular goal. You can X out of it, and it takes you back to where you started. I can go back in here and pick a different goal. kind of just if you want a quick access to get to the goals and objectives and services that are on this page, because you might have lots of them. Can I blow up the images? Yes, I can. Sorry about that. Is that better? I can move this over. Okay. All right, to the right of the select a goal or objective dropdown, you're going to see an add goal and objectives button. We're going to come back to that when we add a goal and objective. There's also an add service button to the right of the add goal and objective button. And the add service button you will actually see when you're in the all filter and when you're in the services filter. You will not see it in the goals and objectives filter. And then to the right of the add service is a hamburger icon that you can open up. You can select any of these additional fields that you'd like to see on the rows. If you check them, they will appear, and then you can uncheck them to have them be removed. Okay, so now we have the type. So here's where we have the goal types that have actually been added for the customer that's up here. To the right of the type label in the blue bar is a sorted icon. So you can select it for ascending or descending, whichever way you want to review it. There's also the goal name. And again, you can do ascending and descending. Same for the status, the start date, and then at the end to the right, the very far right is the actions, and that's where we have the view icon. So now that we're down here, we're actually in the system. So we have these chevrons on the left-hand side, and you can expand and you can contract. So you can look at as many as you want and as few as you want. So when we go in a little bit and we're going to add a couple other goals and objectives and services, you'll see this screen right here grow. And then anytime it's an education, you'll see education. Anytime it's a follow-up, you'll see follow-up. So there'll be different types that you will see that come across here. So the only thing left here with the view all section would be the actual actions view button. So if you hit the view icon and open this up, this takes you to the view page. So here's your goal that we just opened up. Here's the objective that goes with this goal, and then all the information that's associated with it. The exit goal button over here, we're going to come back to when we exit. So for right now, we're just going to go back to career plan. All right. What is the difference between start date and actual date? Yeah, so I've been going through that myself. So I'm going to let Al tell you what that is.
Where do you see an actual and start?
Over here in the hamburger, you're able to do
Start is
start date.
actual. Start is actual. I mean, I don't know why that hamburger has it that way, but start date is start date. Looks like we have too many things in there now.
Yeah, I think
We've removed
so.
tons of dates, and
We did.
so
So
those are
so
in
that's why I
there.
closed it up. The plan date and the end date are no longer on the service.
Yeah, the planned end and the planned start. Um,
You shouldn't have the planned end and planned start shouldn't be here.
we're really messing with status. It's just going to be start date and end date.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you just have start and end.
yeah.
I don't know. We ran through a couple UATs and I think
We
somehow
just got to get those out of that.
this got added back on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if your part of your plan is to attend a training that's scheduled to start on this date, but then somehow it gets delayed and it starts on a different date, do you just go and adjust the date or
A
what
goal
happens?
has you don't have to put any plan dates in on the service.
Okay,
The goal has a planned end date. You don't even have to put a start date on the planned start date on the goal. So, um, so um, the the catch is because we were originally using that as a way to determine if we had services open and stuff like that, so we wouldn't exit somebody. But we're not doing that. We are assuming everybody's live and going. And if someone needs to pause for a specific reason, like health, or there's several reasons, then we will set that in the settings page on a different place because it would pertain to all services. We don't want to have to set that plan date and all that for every single service. We're just going to, so because we assume that, hey, we're starting these at a certain time. If they're not started, it's planned but not started is the status. If it's started, then you have a start date. If it's completed, you have an end date. And if we ever have to pause somebody, like there's a legitimate, decent reason to pause them because we're worried about them exiting, and they shouldn't exit on us because the system automatically exits. There is another place in the system in settings where we can pause, which basically pauses everything. So,
And we'll show that and go over that here. I think in 3 or 4 weeks when we do the
a
overview
couple
page.
weeks, I think. Yeah.
Couple weeks, yeah. Okay, so moving on. So we just went through the view all in the filter, and now the next section of the UAT guide is career plan list, view goals and objectives. So here you're going to want to select the goals and objectives. And what this does, it's only showing the goals and objectives. It's no longer showing you the services that are associated with it. So it's just a way to filter a different view. So because we switched, everything up here is the same. So you'll see the same format no matter how it's filtered, with a couple minor things here off to the right. So as you're in goals and objectives, as opposed to when you were in all, it said select a goal or an objective. When you're in goals and objective, you're going to select the goal type. So you can select employment, education, training, or supportive services here. Then to the right of that is the add a goal and objective and the same hamburger icon. And this works the same way. So you can use the chevron to push everything close, or you can use it to expand it like we just did in the all. I want to make sure I don't pass anything up here. Okay. So now we're in the goals and objective, and we want to add a goal and objective. So we can do that by hitting this button right here. So just kind of pay attention right now. We have follow-up, education, and education. I'm going to go over here and add a goal and objective for training so you can see how it will auto-populate into this screen once we add it. So you're going to hit the add goal and objectives button. And then it's asking what type of goal are you adding. So you'll use the drop down. I'm going to add a training one. And then you'll just fill out the goal, the term, the status, and then the sub program. You can hit this to get all. You can hit one, but you do have to put in the one that you want. You're going to add comments here. And then this was for the goal. So you're at the add goals section because you hit that button. If I hit the back to goals and objectives, it's going to take me back to the previous screen. So as I scroll down, now I can add an objective. And here's where you can add multiple objectives to the one goal. So you can add as many as you want. So for right now, I'm going to add one, go back and show you what it looks like, and then we'll come back and we'll add another one. So I'm going to save. So you have three options here. You can actually add another objective right here. You can save and add the service right here, or you can just save the goal and objectives right here. You can also cancel what you're doing and it will take you back. So for right now, I'm just going to hit the save goals and objectives. So you notice I got the little green goal objectives were successfully created. if I would have missed something that was required on that last screen, it would give you the red error and it would actually tell you what was missing. Okay, so now you can see training. So here's the goal I just added, and here's the objective I just added. So if I want to go back and add, sorry, my screen's almost, it's a little bigger. So if I hit this view button, I can come in here and edit, and I can go down here and add another objective. So there's a couple ways to add multiple objectives. So in this case, I'm going to go down here and add another one. And then I'm going to save it. It's going to take me back to the previous screen. So here's my training, here's my goal, and here's the 2 objectives I just added. Does that make sense? So now let's go back over here and let's add another goal and objective. Let's do another training. I'm going to pick all this information that's needed. Then I'm going to add an objective. And I want to add another one, so I can just do it right here. And then I'm going to save it. Yeah, so the question is, won't the system know if the customer is an adult, dislocated, or youth? I'm worried that people may click the wrong title by mistake. That's actually going to be, if I'm not mistaken now, auto-populated there. Like if they're an adult or if they're in a youth or dislocated worker, those will be the only options they have there.
That's the only options. But if they're in multiple programs like that, you would want to pick which program you're going to
Got
set
it.
up this goal
Like the
in.
youth or the adult or
Or
Right.
one of those NAGs
Yes.
or something like that.
Yes.
Perfect. Great job.
yes.
Yep. If there's only one program, it'll default to that program.
All right. That I'm no longer nervous. Thank you. That's wonderful.
Okay.
And if I miss questions that you're putting in the chat, I'll try to go back to it. Okay, so now you can see here's 2 ways that we just added. We added the training type, the goal type, and then we added the goal with different objectives. So there were 2 different ways that we could do that. Any questions on adding the goal?
Laura, this is David Taylor. This is looking good. Can you just speak very briefly to the idea of how goals and objectives here may be different than the traditional IEP ISS? Is there still an IEP ISS?
I can talk to that. There's IEP ISS is now called the Universal Career Plan, which is just one career plan. And this is basically the career plan that you're looking at. And goals and objectives, I think, are a little bit different than you have today. I think you don't necessarily, I'm not exactly sure. I'd have to look at it, but in the future here today, going forward, or in 2.0 going forward, you will always select, and she's emphasized this, but you will always select a goal, at least one goal and at least one objective to associate to that service. So you won't just go add services without a goal and objective. Okay, I don't know if that makes sense. She's getting to that next part, but the IEP and the ISS has been combined into a universal career plan. So if you have youth and adult, or youth and adult dislocated worker, whatever, you only have one career plan. Or that's even going to go forward into, like, if we have DRE or something like that, then we're going to have still one, because DRE, you always usually pick up dislocated worker or something like that. So you're still going to have one career plan, which we're just calling that the universal career plan.
Will there be a tab, Al, that directs us to the universal career plan, where we'll be able to just see that on the customer?
That plan, the plan tab right there is. Now,
Right
you'll
here.
be able to export this too. We haven't got that in there yet. It's one of those enhancements you'll see on that other page, but you'll be able to, this is the plan. You'll be able to export that into a, like a PDF for for the career planner view or for the customer view, but you're basically working in the career plan right here. Now, the rest of that, like goals, objectives, I'm sorry, outcomes and all that's it's on a different area of, but the career plan itself, this is the career plan.
Thank you. That helps.
Good question. Okay, so now we're in viewing a goal and objective. So we're still filtered to goals and objective. For just the purposes of making the screen bigger so you can see it, I'm going to slide this over to the view icon. And I know I just showed you this, but I just want to make sure you're aware of it because there's a whole section on it in the UAT. So when you open the action icon, now you can see, so here's the goal and here's both of the objectives. If I want to edit it, I can go into edit, which we're going to come back to here in just a minute. And then you hit the back to goal plan and it takes you back to the page you were just on. So the viewing the goals and objective is fairly easy. The viewing is the same way for the goals and objective and or actually for the goal. You can't really view the objective because you can't have an objective without a goal. So the view icon's only on the let me make this bigger. On the here. Okay, I think Paul, you have your hand up. Did I miss that?
Yes. So just a quick question on the goals and objectives here. So if there's a goal that fits into, like for youth, let's say it fits into one of the 14 elements, but it's not in the pre-selected list. Are you able to manually type in that goal, or is that something that we would have to contact?
Not in what
UX to
pre-selected
add it?
list? The available goals and objectives and services, not the goals and objectives, it's not in that goal. I think if you go into that, add a goal, Laura.
Yeah, there's an other.
I think there's an other. Yeah.
There's another. So if
Oh,
I
really?
go here, I'm picking,
It's
hang
not
on.
under employment though, I don't think. It's got to be, there might even be an other category above. Slide that down. Is there another?
Yeah, there's another right
There you
here.
go. Select
Okay.
that. Then you can describe the goal, Paul.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Okay. Now, obviously we would want you to find the goal and not be, you know, if you can, if it's not in there, we definitely understand. But
Yeah, sometimes I mean like the 14 elements, there's you can everything has to fit into that, so you can state a goal,
yeah,
but
yeah.
but sometimes some of the objectives that you need to, achieve that goal may be
I think you hit other
different
here
based
too,
on,
Laura.
Yeah.
what's available in the area.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
so there's another on what type of goal you're adding, but
yeah,
let's say
yeah,
you have that chosen, but there's also an other down for the goal.
I see. I see.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you can describe the goal.
Now I'm not sure. I haven't done this much. Go down and show 'em what's the objective.
So then I
Um,
would have to add,
well, you haven't added enough here probably to go ahead and add it named.
well, I
Like
haven't added it for other
go ahead
as
and add
the,
and describe the goal there. Just put in there
mhm,
testing other, and then or something, and then do it like a short term or something, and
mhm.
then not started. And then let's see if we can get down here and see what the objective is. So yeah, I don't know why, because you're expecting an objective to be also describable, I think, what you just said. So I gotta look at this.
Right.
Yeah, we do because I haven't played around
We've
with
never
that.
even messed with the other yet, and I gotta go back
Right.
and look at the requirements on it and see what it's
Okay.
supposed to be doing. So go ahead and
Add an objective.
I don't think it'll do it because we
I
haven't
don't
got
know if
one
it
on there, but
can.
go ahead and try that. I'm not
Nope.
sure that'll work. It doesn't work, does it?
No.
Okay, so go ahead and save the goal and objective, and let's see if it goes onto the plan. And then it's under education, I believe, or
So
something.
it's right here. It's the
Oh,
NA.
yeah, having a problem with that. All right,
Yeah.
we'll look into that. Let me put that in the notes.
Yeah, that's a great question. That's something we got to fix. Look into and fix, and then we'll get back and let you know.
I'll put it in your notes.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so we're still in goals and objectives, and now we want to view. So we hit the view icon. Now you can see, as we said, here's your goal, here's your 2 objectives. If I want to edit the screen here, I can, or I can go back to the career plan. So if I'm not mistaken, the next part is going to be to edit a goals and objective. And then we'll move on to services. So we're still filtered to goals and objective. So you can slide over to the view icon, pick the goal that you want to edit and click the icon. And then you're in the view screen. So then you can edit right here. So when you're editing right here, you can modify it. You can delete objectives. And just so you know, you can't delete a goal if it has objectives. So you can individually delete a goal or an objective. Like if you wanted to actually get rid of this goal altogether, you'd have to come down here and delete the objective, delete the second one because this one has two, and then the system will allow you to delete the goal. If you try to delete the goal, it won't let you because there are objectives attached to it. But let's say we want to make a change. So we want to go from not started to in progress, not started, in progress, and then I can save the goal and objective. Maybe. Hang on 1 second. Sorry, I didn't have this problem yesterday.
What's that? What's going on?
I was just trying to make a couple edits to show them how you can edit and save,
Yeah.
but oddly, I got stuck here. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like the system just locked up. All right, let me cancel.
What happened?
I don't know.
What are you trying to do? I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I was writing.
I'm trying to edit
Yeah. Clear
and
those out right now.
save.
I don't know what's going on. We may be having a trouble with that. Can you edit and delete that other off there?
Oh, you know what? Great comments.
Yeah. Can you
Maybe
edit
that's,
that? You can't
I
view
bet
it. Yeah,
you're
view
right.
and edit, view and delete that real quick if you can.
Yeah, I can
Remove
do
it right.
that.
You can remove it right here because there's
Because
no.
there's no goal, there's no objective added to it. I
All
bet
right.
that was the
Now go
problem.
back and see if that helped. And now whenever
Okay.
go forward with what you're doing, we have a problem with
Okay.
other, looks like.
Yep.
I'm writing that
All
up.
right, so let's go back to the view icon. I want to make an edit. I want to change it to in progress.
No, what's going on here?
I don't know. Oh,
Yeah, some of them are, yeah.
well, I promise this will work.
No,
I
if
don't know.
you can't have right
There.
now a objective started if the goal is not started.
Correct. And I had to start the goal before I could start the objective.
Now, I think maybe in the future we might, if you go right straight down the objective and start it, and it's the first time one of the objectives has been started on a goal, we'll probably just do that for you automatically.
So what happened there was the goal's not started, and I tried to take the objective and start it. So you can't start the objective unless you start the goal.
Wouldn't you automatically set it to start a goal? I mean, who would delay a goal?
Yeah, I don't, there's no reason to, whoever that
Yeah.
was. I mean, I'd probably set it to start it immediately.
Can that be a
And then,
default, Al? So you don't
yeah, we
even
could
have to.
default that. We can default that.
Default the goal to start.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. All right. So now we've gone through, when we filtered the all. We filtered to goals and objectives. And now we're going to filter to services. So I'm going to show you the service filter, then we're going to go back to goals and objectives, and we're going to add a service. But just so you know, like I mentioned, all of the screen is always the same, the left panel on the top. And then we're filtered to services. So here's a chance for you get to add the goal. You can add the goal and objective here. This right here, this checkbox that says show unassigned services only, that's going to be removed. That's one of the enhancements that I put into the notebook sheet. And then you can also add a service here. And as you're adding services, it's going to show you all the services you have. So let's go back to goals and objectives. And let's open one up over by the view. And then we're going to edit. We're going to go down to the bottom, scroll down to the bottom. We're going to add a service. So as you're adding a service, you can do this in a couple ways. Like there's a keyword here. This one doesn't have a lot added to it. Normally you'll see several things down here, but you can use the keyword search, which there's no WBL here. You could, in this case, if I did short, this would come up. So this is just going to help you when you have multiple services down here. This is going to help you get to the one that you want to get to. You can also search it by the goal, and you can search it by the objective. So you're able to select it. And if you notice, when I hit that button to select the service that I want to work in, then you get an edit icon. And so it allows me to edit it. If it's not selected, you can't edit it. Then there's also an info bubble, which is going to give you a definition and a description of what the service entails. And so let me hit this, and then it takes me to the edit page. So there's two different ways to edit a service, because you can go through the view button, or you could go to the services and hit that checkbox, and it opens up a little modal. All right, let's go back here. So I'm going to add a service. Let's go to the first training one, because as you can see, there's a goal, and let me go to all. Yeah. So this particular training one has a goal and two objectives. So I want to add a service to this goal. Just got to scoot over for you. If I hit the icon, edit, we can go down here and add the service. I'm adding the service. Right now I have to edit it to add it. That's one of the enhancements. It's actually a bug. But I have that in there for you, so you're aware of it. And I'm going to save it. Now if we go back to the career plan, here's your goal, here's your two objectives, here's your service. Does that make sense on how to add a service? Okay, so So it looks like we have, Paul, you have a question. When we edit, delete, or add a goal objective, will it require to get new signatures for the career plan? Al, do you know that?
What was I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What was Paul's question?
When we edit, delete, or add a goal objective, will it require us to get new signatures for the career plan?
Yes, it's going to.
And
I think I I I'm not sure about all of them, but I think it is. But yeah, we do have to do that, just the same as today. And Rory has his hand up too.
I was just wondering, and sorry, I hopped on about 10:30-ish. I had a meeting that ran late. So I don't know if that was the signature part was already covered, like how they're going to sign initially in that tab. I saw a question in the chat, but it might have been answered already. But in addition to that, I was just wondering um, when you go to so on the screen, if you want to no, I'm not sure where you are. Oh, under the services option under manage goals, objectives, and services. When you click on services, yeah, to the right a little bit. Yeah. When you click on the services as you had pulled up before, I know it looked like you can search services based on what goals or objectives they're tied to or they're
you
affiliated with.
can, yep.
But will it
You sure
also
can.
do like currently in IWDS, now it just says list all in services. Is there a way to just list all of them, or do you have to? Will they only be listed?
No, that's all that's on there, Rory, or is this Rory? That's all that's on there right now. That's all of them.
Oh, okay. So if you don't select a goal or objective, it'll just because I'm just thinking while we train planners and as they're going through this transition of adapting from the old system to the new system, I just was saying, hey, do we need to make them aware, like, oh, the service isn't in here? It's like, well, no, because you have to select the goal and objective. So I like that you can by default see all of them just in case until they get used to that feature. So, okay, thank you very much for clarifying that.
And however many services are in this grid right here, it will actually tell you how many you have.
I did see
when
that.
you get to multiple pages, you'll know there's even more.
Is that will help? Yeah. But that was great. I'm glad you pointed that out. You can definitely search the goal and objective, and then it will show you the associated service in the grid below. So then if you hit this X button right here, then it takes you to all of them that are there.
You can see all of them, but if you kind of want to cut to the chase, you know exactly which one. You don't want to scroll through if they've had like 6 or 7 services. You can just go. He's like, oh, I know this is part of their job search goal or whatever resume.
Yes.
So, oh, great, thanks.
So right now, this would be expanding downward until 10 we're showing, right? Unless you had your screen really small. If you had your screen, but you can set the number of services that would be on her. She doesn't have her, she has 2 on her, but
let me go to one that I put in last night.
You have one with lots of services?
We'll see what Ava has.
Probably don't have very many services on any of them.
Probably don't have very many. I do like in staging it. Yeah, just one here. That's even less.
Okay. But yeah, it'll allow you to show all of the services at once.
But are you seeing you got different goals? Are you seeing the goals, the services per goal, or you're seeing all the goals or objectives? Maybe
you can see that on that all there, when it's set to all, you'll see the goal, the objectives, and the service that's associated with that goal. Okay.
Got it.
So and then even here, you can select the goal or objective, even here on this one, and just go straight to that one. Okay. If you are in services, it will show you everything. But if you filter it to something, go ahead.
It shows you all the services you have.
Yep.
And it's not restricted to the goal or objective.
No, not at all, unless you use that little drop down above, and then it'll restrict it for you.
Got it. All right. Thank you.
See that? Okay, yeah. So, yeah, it defaults to all of them. And then of course you can play around with how many you want to see on a page. That's just normal pagination stuff. But and then when you export, we're going to have an export here pretty soon that prints out the career plan. You'll be able to see, all services that are on the plan with more detail.
I wanted to see if I could find one in staging to show an example of how it's multiple. Let me see if I can pull one up. Yeah, here's one. Let me just show you this real quick. I'm in staging right now. So it just shows you an example. And this is why you're going to want to use that chevron, because this one has lots of goals and objectives and services.
Yeah.
So then you can close these and then open up the ones you want.
Right. But not a whole lot of services probably still. Go to services.
Yeah, let me go to services.
I don't think we have any that has a lot on it right now.
Yeah, so just three. But see, you can see where it says, okay, there's 3 here, so here's 3 services.
You'll have.
When I was testing, I had lots of them on there. I just kind of got rid of them. Because you guys, part of your training will be to be adding these. Let me get rid of this. Okay. So if we're almost done, and then you can keep asking questions. But if we wanted to if we want to go back here and we want to add a service, or let me just make sure I showed you all of this down here in the edit. So just make sure you can add an objective, you can save an add, you can use the save goal and objective button. So there's going to be different modal pop-ups that will come up depending on if you've saved something that shouldn't have been saved, or if you saved something that could be saved, or if you want to delete, it will ask you if you really truly want to delete. And that's the run through. Like the UAT is actually set up so you can go through line by line, and I have an image set up for each one. But I wanted to see, the only thing that we didn't talk about is the versions.
Versions is not in those.
Oh yeah, it's not in here. Okay, good. Because I was like, wait a minute, it's not here. That's good.
I mean,
it's not there.
we'll have to talk about that in the future career plan, but versioning was on.
Okay. So here's the question though. For services, will we still have somewhere to add additional episode as we do currently?
Yes.
Yes.
If you
Great question.
If you pick a service that is episodes, okay, you'll see that transportation. Go back into your case and go to one of your goals and add let's see, I'm trying to think through this. Try to go to that training goal there on the top. Go there and let's see if we can do this. I'm not sure if we can do this. Okay.
We made this
just go ahead to service. Actually, I tell you how to do it. Let's do it a different way. Go back to and just go straight to add service and then pick your goal and objective, and then go to add service and then pick a goal and objective, or just search for this transportation. Maybe it's a supportive service, or no. Hold on, it should come up. There it is. Go into that one.
Hang on.
Whoops. It was there for a minute.
I know. Here we go.
Go into that one right there. Okay, and edit that one. This is actually.
So you notice I checked the box, and then the icon came up.
And then when you edit this, you can see the top same day service, but you'll also be adding. You can probably just add anything as a provider. I'm assuming. You can go ahead and put. I want to go ahead and put completed in here.
Yep.
Okay. And then put a start date as today. and it'll fix the end date as
It
date.
automatically puts in
Okay,
the
yeah.
end date because it's a same
Now
day service.
save that, and we should be able to see now if you go back
The
into
episodes.
if you go back into that service, go view that service right there, right there. Go view it. The service, not the
Oops, I'm sorry.
go view that service right there. Now you'll have, if you go down, you'll see episode service, you'll see, well, I don't
Hang
see it.
on.
I don't see it. Go, huh.
Looks like
Huh.
it said
I
not yet
thought
started,
this was an
but
episode.
I thought you
There's a,
put in a
let,
start
let me
date.
look for it. There's a place where you'll see episodes.
There is, and you know what? We'll find that, and I want to put that in the UAT guide so you know
Hold
how it
on.
works.
Yeah, we need to put that in there.
Yeah, I need to add that to it because we had that come up yesterday, and I was able to show
Episodes and all that.
an episode.
Let me find it.
One right there for transportation assistant. It looks like you were in the wrong
Oh, is that what
objective.
we're in? Oh,
Yeah,
help
you
us
were in
out.
short-term pre-voke. You need to go down to
Oh,
transportation.
okay.
Just keep scrolling
Okay.
down.
Yeah,
You're
there you
right.
right
go.
You're
Go
there.
right.
down
I
It's
to
was
right
trans.
looking at
there.
There
the
you
wrong.
go. Thank you.
Thank you. Right
There you
here.
go. Okay, so you see up here, you have an episode one of one, and then if you go down, you have the service episodes here.
Right here.
There you go. I was like, what happened? Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. So now what we're going to also do, I think we got in that list, is go back up a level. On the service rows, we're going to put the number on the out to the right. Go down to like if you go down to your transportation row here, we're going to put the number of episodes in here on this as a column. So you kind of know, hey, it's more than once. So we'll put that in there. And if you go to probably be over in services, but yeah, if you go to services now, filter, Laura, on your view,
Hmm.
then you should see we will put in here the number of episodes. So like if anything is multiple episodes, like transportation assistance is, we will put that in a column that says, somewhere in there, it'll say 2 or 3 or whatever. So that you kind of know. And then of course, if you view it from here, when you just do all services, you'll be able to see that immediately that there's multiple episodes. So that's the way that works. So when you add the next transportation service assistance, it will add episode 2. You just go in and edit and add episode 2. Good question.
I'm so glad you asked that.
It's deep.
Okay, so same day service episodes are episodes on the original record, meaning they have the same provider, etc. Did I see you have to choose all of that for additional episodes?
You should not have to do any adding that again. Is that what you're asking? If it's the same provider and everything? Let me see. I can go in and try this. Go ahead. I'll try this real quick. I'm pretty sure we should be okay there.
And speaking of same day services, those or same day services are particular templates.
Yeah,
So like
Laura and Al, sorry to interrupt, but
yeah, go ahead.
you got a couple people with their hands up for quite a while now. Just
Oh,
didn't want to
so
get
sorry.
too far
Okay.
along here again with where maybe you can address their questions.
Paul, and then David. Thanks, Mark.
This is David. Thank you for showing us how to add transportation. I may have missed this. If you could review this for me. If I have a new career planner and they don't know what to search on, how does that work? If an experienced career planner says, well, I need to open up a transportation service. A new career planner doesn't know that word sometimes. So
all right, I got an answer. I got an answer for you. Okay. First of all, the next UAT after this one is recommended services. Okay. So we will, in that recommended services tab, that's where everybody really wants to start, especially if you're not a seasoned career planner. Because there on recommended, I'll give them kind of a
I'll show you. Yep.
There, we will already pull in all the services, goals, objectives, and services that the system recommends based upon all the questions and answers and the pre-screening, the application, all those kinds of things, assessments. And this is really where you're going to the career planners want to go first, because go to the right there a little bit, Laura. Whenever you expand one of those goals or whatever, you can just select that, and the goal, the objective, and the service is right here, and just send it to the plan. You don't even have all this stuff we're kind of doing right now. with adding individual goals, adding objectives, adding services, you can do it with single clicks and it'll go right to the plan. Okay. So I think that's more in line with you're talking about, like, well, what do I do now? What do I do based upon this particular customer and their needs? The system already kind of knows what should be recommended to be added onto the plan. Hope
And
that
so
helps.
can we see that now, or are you saying that's in the
No,
next
that's
draft?
not, that's not, that's
That's the
next,
next,
next
that's the
UAT.
next UAT.
We're getting ahead of
We're
you.
actually testing that
Yeah.
right now. We saw a
Yep.
demonstration of it today and we're testing it. So the next UAT we have, you'll get to see that
That's
and
good
play with
news.
that. It'll be good.
All right, now Paul.
Yeah, so just a quick question on entering the service activity. So I guess there's situations where, in we're supposed to add additional episodes on a service activity, right? But if it's provided by two different entities for that same service, so for example, like right now when we pay for books for training, right?
Right.
We would do other supportive services, and then the provider would be us, our LWIA, because we're paying for those services and sending them to a bookstore, right? But
Correct.
there are cases where the training institution is providing those books, like Highland Community College in Freeport. They own their own bookstore. So in our area, we use a vouchering system. So we write a voucher, and on that voucher, we mark that it's an occupational skills training and a occupational supportive service item on that same voucher, right? And so when we then put that into the current IWADs, we open up the OST activity, and then we also open up other supportive services, but the provider we choose is Highland Community College Bookstore. So we could have an other supportive service activity for that, and then an other supportive service activity for like work experience where we have to pay for background checks, right? Or physicians immediate care, stuff for like nursing and so forth. So those would be like under our LWIA as the provider instead of the bookstore, right? So we're going to be able to then enter multiple, if we need to, of the same activity.
The same service
Yeah, same service,
with
like
different providers. Yeah,
right, with different providers.
we are going to, I'm in the background here. I'm testing exactly how we're going to tell you how to do that. But yes, okay. The long-term answer is yes. The short-term answer is I got to go back and find out how to do it because that's been in there a while. So.
Okay.
Any other questions?
You haven't answered Rory's case note question in the chat.
All right, let's see here. I thought we did. Maybe we didn't. Sorry if you already said this before. Is that the one?
Yeah, and you may have, again, I apologize because I joined the meeting a little late.
Oh, sure, of course. So
you may have already gone over that part, or somebody may have
we're
already.
adding episodes to a service, auto-generate, or prompt a case note, similar to how the current IWDS does that. So is that
Which one? Adding a service. Let me look at
like currently, if you add a same day service, I believe it's prompts you, or it already auto kind of generates and then prompts you to create a case note that goes along with it, and the subject of the case note would be, I think, it's like the same day service. I haven't done that part of case management in a little while. So many of the others on this call could probably speak much more correctly and knowledgeably on that than I can. I'm just trying to, of course, I'm trying to visualize it in my head now. I'm drawing a blank, but I know it auto generates it, and then sometimes the career planner has already created a case note before the same day service, and it's like, oh wait, that's a duplicate. It already made a case note for me. So I just didn't know if it's going to prompt. Or case notes might even work a lot differently in the new system, I'd imagine too, in some respects, from a technical standpoint than the current system. So maybe we haven't crossed that bridge yet until you do the testing for case notes. But I just didn't know if,
All right.
again, if and not just same day
I
service.
don't know
for
for
any
sure.
services, are there any things in the system that are going to prompt or auto generate case notes for that matter?
I don't know. Yeah, there's going to be automated case notes, but I just don't know for sure. I have to go back and look and see about this particular, what you're saying here. But I do want to show you, we'll get back to you. We'll record that question and get back to you on that.
Oh, no problem. Again, it was just one of
let
those,
me, because there's a lot of different
yet, but I
situations
just
on
want to make
those
sure I
cases.
didn't miss it if you
Okay.
did. So
Let me steal this and I'm going to show you what I think is going to solve your concern. Okay. I had to do it. And that's sometimes there's a lot of little things in this system. All right, let me save that. Hopefully everybody can see my screen. Okay. Can you see that, Laura?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I just went in here, put a supportive service. I put a goal on this goal, take away obstacles in getting the job. I put a objective on that, get help to buy books, supplies, and then I associated a service to it and added that and completed it, which was books, fees, supplies. Okay. Now let's say we bought some books from Follett, and then we're going to pay for some books from a different provider. Let's just say different provider. So you'll see here, this is what it looks like when I view it, episode 1 of 1. If I go add another episode, it defaults to the same providing entity, okay? But I can actually change that if I need to. So the second episode can have a different providing entity. I think that's what you were asking. So, right, so I could change this to um, maybe you got them at the university or the college, say there's a college, okay? And then let's say that was, I don't want to do it. Let me do that also today, just because I don't want to put one in the past. Let me save that. Now, what will have here now is this is the information about 2 of 2, which is the Lincoln Land provider, right? And this one here is information about one, that's strange, 1 of 2, which is this Workforce Solutions American Job Center. Okay. Does that answer what you were intending to ask?
So I think that's pertaining to my question. So yes. So basically the like the other supporter services or whatever, the books supporter services activity, you would only have one of those, and you under that one activity, when you do an addition episode, you can pick different providers
Yep.
and so it's just going to be a log of different providers.
That's correct. And you'll have, and like I said, for the episodes one, we're going to put a number here that will give you the number of episodes. So we kind of know, right? Oh, they're all in here because you can't really tell. We don't have a tree here to show you that right now you actually have to go in to know that. And then you have 1 of 2 and then 2 of 2. It will not do that, by the way. That's just going to home and back. But, and then here's your episodes. Any files like receipts or anything or whatever you put in there, I'm not exactly sure what you're putting in there. You can add them right there also. If you had some kind of something that you wanted to add there, or maybe it was, some kind of a invoice or receipt or something. And then it will show you number of, the episodes when they were. I did both these on the same day. You could do them on different dates. We'll get rid of this planned. There's no reason for that. There's no reason to show it on the screen anyway, because we can start and end dates. So
then this is kind of going back to Rory's question is that when you do this add addition episode, right? Right
Yep.
now, the current IWDS, it'll make you do a case note.
Yep.
So here, when you do the add addition episode, that's what you're going to find out if it's going to do an
I'll keep track of that. Yeah, we'll see if that's one of the, we haven't got all the automated case notes in here yet, but I'll make sure, I'll see if that's on the list, because if that's what needs to be done, then we can do that. We will.
And then one last follow-up question. So here at the service episodes,
Yes.
down on towards the bottom there, service episodes. So that's kind of saying, okay, there's that many number of episodes, but is there a way? So because when we're doing internal monitoring, we'd like to see the episodes, and if it's going to be structured this way, is there a way to show which providing entity that episode belongs to in the short list?
It'll be in a report. That's going to be a report. You'll see all your, there's a report. I can't remember what the name of it is, that you'll see those, and you'll be able to click into that report, pull up, by provider, all the services or episodes or whatever that are provided. And in that report, it will actually tree those down. So if you see that service, it'll show the service, like, here's the service name, and then here's your 2 episodes. And if it's different provider, then, and you've got that filtered by provider, then it'll only be one of the 2. So
okay,
that'll be a report. I mean, on-screen report. Our reports will always start on screen, and then you can export them if you want. But yep.
I got a quick question before y'all move from that page. On the providing entity,
Yep.
is that already generated by the providers? It says somebody, for instance, got both supplies of weather from Amazon. Would we be able to add Amazon?
This is who's providing. I thought this.
Well, you said that
Amazon's is the where you got it, right?
Right.
Who supplied? Who's paying for it? Who's actually?
Right.
That's what you really want, right?
Okay. Because
Like this
sometimes,
could be this one right here. Like, for instance, this
yeah,
one right here, where I said, this is coming from this American
yeah.
Job Center, whatever.
And what I'm trying to figure out is that already preloaded with providing entity for everybody
Yes.
to choose for.
It will be all providing entities, but like a Fallets or an Amazon or whatever is not really the providing. Is the way I understand it, wouldn't be the providing entity. It's just where you got the books, right?
Okay, yeah, that case, yes, yes, that is true.
Like Amazon's not providing
I
those
guess
books.
I'm
They're just,
looking at it from if that provider does not have a certain course, or not course, but material, and they need to go outside to get it. Sometimes we tend to get laptop for customers.
yeah.
The entity is not providing, and I mean, on my laptop, I'm pretty sure that everybody would agree with that. We will go outside and get that maybe from a Dell.
But you get that from Dell. They're not giving them to you, right?
Right, we purchasing it
And
as
so
a support.
you purchasing it. What's the you? That's the LWIA, right?
Yes.
Right. So you are the provider, then the LWIA.
Okay, so I just.
So I'm saying now, if you want to capture, like, if you
We
want
capture it on the supported service.
yeah, if you want to capture exactly, if you want to capture, like, maybe upload the receipt or invoice where you got that, it would be right on that, or the case through the case note. If you wanted to do that, say, hey, we got this from Dell. But ultimately, Dell is not the provider. They're just supplier. They're a supplier.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. I hope I got that right. Maybe Mark, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the provider is not.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't think we want to start saying
who's paying for it.
Yeah, saying SMTD, our bus system. If you guys are the ones paying for it, they're the ones, that's being used. Stuff like that. I think that's what you're saying.
Right. Because sometimes we got like bus card, we give clients, Okay. I'm just trying to.
Case notes would also.
Now, if you had an association or something, or that's more kind of a referral situation where you have somebody actually else that's providing that. What you might have, like community service type support groups and all that kind of stuff, you might have somebody maybe that's actually supportive service, maybe, I don't know, childcare or something. You might have you might be able to select them as a provider in here. And that provider would be, the entity type would be like community service group or whatever, right? And that's a case where you're actually not paying for it. They are. They're supplying that. But this is different. What you're talking about, if you're actually using your grant money, right, to give them bus passes or transportation, or you're giving them tools to work with, or test fees, or those kinds of things, then the way I understand it, you as an LWIA are the provider. Hope that helps.
I think there's another question from Crystal in the chat.
Okay, let me see here.
And then
you guys are gonna get out of my wheel.
The rest have been answered. I just want to make sure.
Crystal, let's see what you got going. Okay. I explain support services SDS records by referring to the idea of a checkbook account, and they need to pay attention to who the provider is for additional expenses as they may need to separate record. Current SDS records are clean in that sense and don't vary providers. If this is how it's working now, can we note this for training purposes for staff to make sure, so if I'm understanding this right, and I went back and looked at it, you're saying that multiple episodes cannot be a different provider? Is that what you're saying? Oh, no, it says if you make sure they know provider, can be switched. So today in IWDS 1.0, which I did not know that, you cannot switch providers on that service, supportive service.
No, because like when the monitors come in and they check it, they want to make sure that your service records are correct and that you've got the right providers associated with the right services and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So when I asked the question earlier, whether or not it was going to auto-populate the provider for same day service, if this is the case that you can change it, then isn't the answer to my previous question, no, it's not going to auto-populate provider? Or regardless.
On the second episode, it does auto-populate that, but you can change it.
Okay. So can we just make sure somewhere we're noting that for training purposes so that we because since that's a difference, we need to make sure people understand that?
Yep, we sure can. And I'm going to go back and look at that too in 1.0. Didn't realize that.
I got a question on that, Al. So if it auto-populates, I always fear auto-populating that people don't change it when they should, but neither here nor there. If someone has used multiple providers, how does the system then know which one to auto-populate?
Well, I'm just saying it auto-populates it from before. So
like
so it's only if you
we got two right now,
repetition.
Mark. We have two right now. So let's add a third. Okay, let's add a third one. Okay. And I shouldn't go back. I should just go here.
I think
so I'm saying let's say it's transportation, and today I use the local bus service, and next week I use the bus service, but then I change to an Uber the next day because the timing just didn't work for the bus or whatever.
Yep.
Then I go in for a fourth episode. How does it know which one to populate now? The most recent one?
It's just doing the most recent one. That's
okay.
Awesome.
Okay. Just like I say, I think people just need to be aware of that because again, my fear is always something's there and I forget to change it because
that's true, Mark. You're exactly right. You're right. Yeah. With
but I also don't want
issues.
This list is going to get so long. I also don't want every time they do another episode, they have to go through a list of hundreds of providers trying to find the right one.
Yeah, that's
And
the
this
issue.
applies to all kind of drop downs if you're going to auto populate anything.
It combined, yeah. This is actually obviously you'd know is going off entity management and finding, and you can
I just hope it doesn't lead to too much inaccurate information because someone just totally slips their mind and doesn't change it when they need to.
Yeah. That's let me
And
cancel
then
that.
just a follow-up question, can you write in a provider?
I thought you could, but
Well, wouldn't you create a new entity first, Al, and then pick
I
from the
think we would
provider?
have, I don't think this particular field allows
I
us
think you have to
do-
have an entity to pick it from. I don't think you can just type
we have to
anything in.
select.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have
to have
select.
a relationship number.
Yeah. So I think here,
Yeah, that's
somewhere
another
you
thing,
have to,
right? You have to,
yeah,
yep, you're
somewhere
right.
you have to be
No, we
easily
can't.
able to get to those screens, Al, from that spot or any spot where they're picking an entity. I think you need to have something on the sidebar, something to quickly get you able to add a new entity and relationship and get right back to this screen without having to go through 50
Yeah, it
screens
might be
to
a
get here
lot, but yeah, I
again.
get what you're saying. That
Yeah,
might be
I
a
mean,
lot.
we don't want to be cumbersome in how they make this work.
Yeah. Also, you can edit these, by the way, if you missed that. And I think we're going to get rid of this. I think we want to replace it with the provider name here. Now that you're talking about this more and more, because then you can really quickly see which providers provided those. Or if you want to take note of that, I think there's no reason for this plan stuff, but I think we need to add, even this is kind of, whatever, because you have the dates.
Right.
But we need
I
to
made a
add,
note of
we
it.
need to add a provider or at least abbreviation of that provider because if I would have hit another one, accidentally didn't change that from Lincoln Land or whatever, and then I came out here, I would see it and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, that's not right. And I could just go and edit it. So
We can change that.
good catches, good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can definitely add episodes and you can do probably a little bit more than you can do today with those episodes. But we will note that in training and make sure that people know it'll always default to the one you had before, but if you change it, you got to know that.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Dave's question here. I was ready to respond in the chat, Al. I think to me it's clear if somebody buys something as a supportive service, such as books or other items from Amazon or the store, whatever, those stores, those retail are not the provider. But he makes a good point. If in my example earlier may have been a bad one, if the LWIA pays the bus company to transfer somebody to training or service or whatever, who's the provider in that instance? The LWIA that paid for it or the bus company that got the person there? I think that needs to be clear to all of us how that's going to work. Otherwise, as David said, most everything's going to be the LWIA as the provider because they're always funding it in one way or another. Now, maybe you can differentiate to say that, who is the last funder of it? Meaning if I pay somebody and they provide the service, then
There's no reason we can't put what I would call the supplier on there and default it to the provider also. And then you could freeform type it in if you want. If you really
because
want
I think I would want to know that it's the bus company or an Uber driver, not necessarily the driver themselves, but
So what we
Uber
could
or
do,
a
you're right.
taxi, or I would want to know those versus always seeing the LWIA paid for it, the LWIA paid for it, the LWIA paid for it,
That
So
would be very helpful
we
because
can add
then it take
supplier
the
here.
liability out.
Yeah, we can add supplier here and you can just type in where you got it. We don't want to, make you add a bunch of entities just to supply, but you could type it in if you wanted to that way.
I mean, I think to me, the provider is of a service, not of an item.
Correct.
And so that would be easier for me to differentiate. If I buy a book, I am the provider, not Amazon or Follett or whoever.
Right.
If I pay someone to take someone somewhere, transportation, pay for their childcare, then that is who the provider is. They're the ones providing the service, not you, the LWIA. But again, that has to be clear, and certainly in training has to be made made clear to all the especially career planners.
I mean, I don't know if it helps. The way we've always done it is, for example, if it is like the YWCA, Chicago, if they have like childcare services, if we're going to pay them directly for as a supportive service, for a participant to assist them with their childcare costs while they're in training, we create them as an entity. We would add them because in our vouchers system is like we all have our internal voucher and fiscal system. Like that voucher is going to go to, or if it's just a direct payment relationship we have with them, the payments going to them as the service provider in that sense. So we would put them as an entity and establish a relationship in IWDS, and then we would select them as a provider. If we're paying the participant directly, or reimbursing them, or paying them, or if it's something a little bit more abstract, like not like purchasing a laptop, which is a very good example, a very common example that somebody mentioned, then we might, or like I said, if we're paying for additional supplies at the school that they can't get at the school or at the college bookstore or whatever, if we're paying the participant directly or reimbursing them, then we have ourselves listed as an entity, as like, WorkNet DuPage, we have a service, we have a provider relationship number, and then we would put us as the provider in that case, like if we're paying the student directly, because in that sense we're providing the service. So I don't know if that clears it up or muddies the waters even more, but that's how we do it.
I just think you need an additional field there that's basically who's, we can call it supplier, or we can call it payee. I don't know what that is, but maybe it's a payee. But we probably just need an additional field that you can capture that and it's visible, so that and we can then give you a report on that if you need to get a report on that. I think we should add additional field because I don't want to obscure the concept of a provider just because we're paying, because provider is providing it, and whoever is supplying that or is a different deal, and most of these things, there's a lot of these things that are like, you're not providing the college education.
Right.
It's
like they're the provider, right?
Yeah.
And
that would be a helpful thing to put on there. So this way, when we do run report for monitoring from a fiscal side, we could show exactly who we bought it from and for what client we using it for.
Yep.
I was going to say the same thing, and in that case, maybe you would list the Amazon or the Target or whatever,
That's
because
what
you would want to know.
That's what I was trying to talk about earlier. Yeah. I'm like, maybe I
you would want to know who that came from, because you might look down a list and go, wow, we've got this supplier or whatever we're going to call that next field, that we're not really getting a very good value out of them because we keep returning things, or whatever the purpose, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They're never on time because they're the bus company and people are missing class or whatever. You don't want to just say LWIA is the provider all the time, because then you have a difficult time backtracking. And always going to the point, from my perspective, I want drop downs and fill in the blanks versus case notes, because I can't do any sorting and reporting from case notes.
Thank you. I know we didn't touch on my question about the goals. We were talking about it, but what I was trying to make sure that we have a clear understanding, if we enroll people into multiple titles and sometimes it happens, how does that goal works? Do we have to do it for each title?
No.
Or will one goal be sufficient?
No, Laura, you got yours still up. You can select multiple titles or programs for a single goal. So if you're a youth and adult, then you just check those two boxes. You don't have to add that goal again. It wouldn't really make sense again, right? Because that's their plan. So
exactly. Because I was just watching how things was running here on that goal. I'm like,
you bet.
Okay.
So this particular one, is this a youth and adult or anything? What is John Doe? Is he both? Application summary there, show us.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
There's a good anticipated worker and a youth.
Yeah, that's a good example.
Okay. So there will show if they enroll.
Yeah, if you go into one of those goals, you can actually edit it, and whenever you add it, you want to it forces you actually to say, what programs do you want this to come out of? Right there above it's called
Oh, right there.
subprogram here.
Right here.
You can pick both right there.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
You can pick both here.
And
Yep.
Let me
before we
ask y'all
forget,
something. Let me also ask y'all something. I see we got all the Wiola. Is this also eventually going to come down to local area days, TAA use and trade?
Yep. TAA, DRE stuff like 1E, 1N, you'll have, if
Yeah.
they're enrolled in those, they just don't show up here because they're not enrolled in them. Trade.
And
So,
1E, 1N.
yep, 1E and 1N and probably DW will be together. So, and adult and dislocated workers always
So that
together.
would start off from the application process.
Yeah, once the application, as she showed you above, that application summary, which just tells you the programs it's in, the very top, Laura. The um,
Right
that
here.
happens, and then that gives you that's what actually supplies those check boxes is what were you eligible for? What's your
Okay.
eligibility?
And
What
looking
what
at
did we
this
put
right
you in, right?
now,
What programs did we put you in? And once that's determined, then you can decide if those goals go over, multiples or those services go over multiples because the service is going to be tied to a goal. So
okay. And when does that application status change from an applicant to a registrant?
when it's eligible, it's
Because I see all this stuff they
certification
do.
after
We got
certification. Then
training, we got all of that. So we got everything at the bottom there, the plan and everything. So once that get enrolled, that's going to change automatically, correct?
yeah, you'll see more of that complete path here in UAT pretty quick. We're building we're building the middle and we're building the front end at this kind of the same time. You're going to see the whole complete path and all the eligibility certification, all that stuff, the application. We have to get through that document upload stuff. We're getting through that right now, and then you'll see that complete path all the way up into now we have a career plan. Okay, that's coming here like in March. So everything's just about dropping on you in March. So I know it's been tough because you're like we're feeding you little pockets of capability, right? And then you're like, well, how does this relate to something else? And yeah, just you're gonna have to give us a little trust.
Well, and even this career plan, like don't forget to look at all the enhancements that we added when you're looking at the notebook, because
Yeah,
hopefully when we show recommendations, some of these enhancements will already be made as well.
it
So
should
it's,
be.
it's
Yeah,
just evolving.
yeah.
I
That's
think
why we
there's
like
one
to get
more
it out in front
handout.
of you too. Like getting out in front of you all and getting you to get your hands on it. It's so important that, instead of waiting to the end, because just like that supplier or whatever we're going to call that, that's a good question and a good addition to the system, right? But we would never know that if we'd all didn't look at it together and all didn't mess with it together. So um, even through yesterday, we probably found 5 things yesterday when we talked to the state folks that, wow, we got to get these things into this whole plan recommendations section. And then when you see the recommendations section, which is coming very soon, then you're going to even understand even more how fluent and easy it's going to be. So hopefully, we're giving you a system that's intuitive. That's what we hope.
We've got a couple more raised hands.
Okay.
Omar, it looks like you're next.
Yeah, I just wanted to refer back to the support services and the way we do it in our organization. Uh, so typically we have multiple layers of support services. It could be for tools, and it's all based on reimbursements. It could be tools, support, transportation, uniforms. There's sub categories for supportive services. And there's no provider per se because it's up to the customer to choose where to get that support, that whatever support they need, whether it's a scrub for specific training or transportation to get to training. However, there's other when with the voucher, there are some items that are linked to the voucher, like a bookstore to buy books. That's part of the voucher. That way we know where the books are coming from. But for support services to make sure that the customer's actually making a training, there's no anything preventing them from getting to the training or to successfully complete it. That's where the supportive services come in the in the uh, in the form of either transportation, tools, uniforms, what have you. So I think there's a separation between those two, and I just wanted to share how that might look like on the new system.
A separation as in, I'm not following you what the separation is between the supportive services and the
And the voucher itself.
and the voucher itself.
Yeah, because the voucher might include books. It might include tests,
Okay.
government
Okay.
test
So
costs.
you and our services are broken down into like assistance with application tests and certifications, child and dependent care,
Yeah.
um, accommodations, health, wellness, housing, legal linkages, community service. Those are all supportive. A service that you could say. So say you had, so what you're doing today, which I don't know if we can do that, you would have multiple services. You wouldn't have it in the same service. So you'd have supportive service for you'd have multiple supportive services.
Yeah, it could be for tools, it could be for
Right. Well,
transportation.
that's how you would do it. You would add another service for tools. You'd add another service for, you wouldn't put the same,
But how would
you
you
would
link
just
to the
open up
provider?
one. You would open up another service or uniforms. Or maybe they
Yeah,
have tests and uniforms.
but who would be the provider in that case?
Well, that's what we said. The provider really is who's providing it. And I think we need another field. We said that just to say, where is that coming from? Where is the supply coming from? Like who's actually supplying the service or who is actually supplying the product or who's supplying the transportation? It looks like we want to add another field because you guys want to track that field. And I think that's totally appropriate.
Called supplier, is that the one you're
Well,
talking about?
I think it's going to be supplier. I mean,
Supplier.
that's kind of my thought about it is the provider is probably you guys. You're providing a voucher to go get it. The supplier, but that doesn't tell you a whole lot. We understand that now. But you need a supplier field there. It says, hey, they got it from wherever they got it, just like that case of the books or the transportation, or maybe you want to know where that transportation came from,
Because
uniform.
usually we're capturing that in case notes.
Yeah, you won't have to answer it in case notes, so you'll just be able to add to your own whatever supplier. You're going to be able to add it right into that supportive service.
Would it be from a drop down or just entry?
Well, I'm thinking the supplier would have to be free form. I don't know how
Yeah,
else we could give you suppliers unless we looked up DMB or something. I don't know how we would.
yeah, because there's too many.
It could be anybody, right? It could
Yeah,
be, yeah. So,
it could be even in the form of gas cards. So that's.
yeah, you might not even know the supplier.
Yeah. Well, we would know who it could
How would
like.
you know? They give you a receipt on it or something after they use their gas card?
No, we dispense gas cards.
Right, but what's what do
So
you put as a supplier in that situation? I mean, it's not Shell. It could be.
it could be Shell. No, the ones that we use personally is Shell.
Oh, okay.
So and it's through their app and it's all electronic.
I get you. Okay.
So yeah, we can say Shell, but when it comes to anybody who wants to buy, for example, scrubs, they can buy it from Amazon. They can buy it from the store down the street. They can buy it from anywhere.
You bet.
Uh, and that's why we need the free form to be able to put whoever the supplier is.
Hey, I gotta get off this meeting. Sorry, we're way over, and I got
Right.
another meeting coming out that's going on. So, but this is a good conversation. Make sure Laura, you have them.
We have one question left.
Yeah,
Do we
one more
need
question from Joel.
Joel?
And it kind of goes with that is that would we be then required to put these suppliers in under the entity maintenance part of this or
No, I don't think you would do that. You would that's providers, right? And we would want to put the suppliers right on the episode. We'd want to put the supplier right on that episode that you for that service episode. So,
good, thanks.
yeah.
That would be a good distinction because I would just caution against putting so many entities in there is that when you have to do contract and vendor expenditures reporting in Illinois WorkNet at the end of every year, you're going to have all these new vendors. So I like the supplier idea versus the, and it is to clarify the
Otherwise, you're gonna
provider
have
as
a lot
well as
of these.
supplier. So thanks for considering that. Thank you.
Alrighty.